Caitlin Clark actually refused to play for Team USA for the 3x3 basketball team.
Example is Jamel Hill. She's a contributing writer for The Atlantic. Jamel said, quote, "People need to stop panicking and putting so much weight on every single decision. The WNBA is going to have Caitlin Clark for a long time. The league isn't going to fall off a cliff if she's not on."
She was the face of a revolution, the name on every fan's lips. Yet despite all the momentum, Team USA still left her off the 5-on-5 Olympic roster.
Her opinion on this subject matter?
Well, I've given it over the last 60 hours. I broke the news. I think on both fronts, merit and publicity, it's just a total swing and a miss by the national governing body, by USA Basketball, just a missed opportunity.
Then they tried to save face, offering her a spot on the 3-on-3 team instead. But Caitlin Clark refused, not out of pride, but on principle. This wasn't just rejection. It was a power play. And now she's taking full control of her own narrative.
Clark is the star player of the WNBA.
The most popular woman ever in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark.
No comparison to Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the most must-watch basketball player in world basketball right now.
How special and rare Caitlin Clark is.
Caitlin Clark is a gifted player.
Caitlin is the one.
She's the biggest basketball star in the world.
There's nobody that does what Caitlin.
Drop a CC if you're rocking with Caitlin. Flood the comments. 100% support right now.
You put Caitlin Clark on the Olympic team?
Right now?
No, this past Olympic team.
Honestly, I have to just say that I respected the committee's job. I understood what was at play. I understood the pros and the cons, I guess, if you want to lay it out that way. And I think at the end of the day, it's hard to criticize a gold medal. A lot of people see the final game against France. They see, only winning by a couple points, and they view that as some sort of indicator. But the reality is we've been having close games at the Olympics for years. I can attest to that. So that wasn't really that new. Winning a close game like that wasn't new. That didn't have anything to do with the roster.
When news broke that Caitlin Clark had turned down Team USA's 3-on-3 Olympic roster, the internet exploded. To some, it looked like a diva move.
Forward to pretty much saying that Caitlin actually refused to play in a 3-on-3 turn.
But look closer and it's clear, this wasn't ego. It was Caitlin Clark standing her ground after being humiliated on the world stage. According to multiple sources, including a bombshell excerpt from Christine Brennan's upcoming book, USA Basketball never intended to include Clark on the prestigious 5-on-5 Olympic roster.
Really holds the WA accountable. And she says the league was simply not prepared for and didn't do their...
Despite being the most talked about athlete in women's basketball, she never received an invite. Instead, they came back with what felt like a consolation prize, a spot on the 3x3 team, a format she doesn't even play, scheduled in a way that would force her to miss key WNBA games with the fever.
It seems like she was offered a chance to play in the 3v3 and said no, and they were pissed off at that. Did Caitlin want to go to Paris for the 3v3 team? The answer from Clark and her team was simple: no. She did not want to go.
Let's be real. It wasn't a genuine offer. It was bait, a calculated PR move to shield Team USA from backlash after dropping the most popular player in the sport. But Clark and her camp didn't fall for it. When asked if she wanted to join the 3x3 team in Paris, her answer was simple: no. She turned it down without a second thought.
Asking, was it a possibility? And do you want to know what the answer is? No. The answer is actually no.
Some say she turned down the Olympics, but that's not the whole story. She refused to be exploited, refused to be thrown in at the last minute just so Team USA could save face.
Turning down. She had never played 3-on-3. That ain't her.
If they didn't want her when it mattered most, why should she say yes when it suddenly benefits them? And here's the irony. Clark wasn't even eligible to begin with. She hadn't played in the 3x3 qualifying tournaments required to rank among the athletes eligible for the Olympics. To qualify, she would have had to skip WNBA games and chase points in obscure international events.
Christine Brennan new book on her game, Caitlin Clark and the revolution in women's basketball. Well, women's sports. Caitlin Clark turned down a chance to play for the USA 3-on-3 Olympic team after being left off the USA national team.
Something no athlete of her caliber should ever be expected to do. So while the media framed it as Caitlin turning down a chance to represent her country, the truth is simple. They set her up to fail.
What's your opinion on this subject matter?
Well, I've given it over the last 60 hours. I broke the news. I think on both fronts, merit and publicity, it's just a total swing and a miss by the national governing body, by USA Basketball. Just a missed opportunity. You put Caitlin Clark on that team, and every single one of those guys that can't stand women's basketball are running to watch that team. British journalist came up and said he couldn't wait to cover Caitlin Clark. One of the concerns about Caitlin, the concern was that if she's on the team and only plays a few minutes, that the outcry and the uproar in the United States from her fans, millions and millions of fans, of course, which, by the way, that's a good thing for the WNBA.
They handed her an impossible path and then watched as critics labeled her unpatriotic for choosing herself. But Caitlin Clark didn't bend. She didn't plead. She answered with a resounding no, louder than any press release.
I think that there was ever a chance of making the 5v5, and I don't know why there was ever that hope being given to her and that hope being given to fans. I think it was just a string of lies.
Caitlin Clark's absence from Team USA's 5-on-5 Olympic roster wasn't a mistake. It was deliberate. Follow the trail of leaked chats, Christine Brennan's revealing book excerpts, and media insiders' accounts, and the truth becomes clear. They never intended for her to be there in the first place.
Clark turned down a chance to play for the USA 3-on-3 Olympic team after being left off the USA national team.
From the moment Olympic selections began, fans assumed Caitlin Clark, arguably the biggest name in women's basketball today, would be a lock. She reignited fan interest, shattered viewership records, sold out arenas, and gave the WNBA the spotlight it had chased for years. Yet when the final roster was announced, her name was nowhere to be found.
They didn't want her. They didn't want her. I don't know if they wanted Caitlin Clark. They either didn't want Caitlin Clark to play or didn't want Caitlin Clark the person. We don't know. They didn't want.
Not even a last-minute reserve spot on the 5-on-5 roster. According to Brennan's book, the decisions weren't about skill, teamwork, or experience. They were about preference, or more accurately, politics. The book makes it clear, they simply didn't want her there. No reasoning, no purpose. Plain and simple, they didn't want her.
Clark is the needle mover.
She is the needle mover.
She is the franchise player.
And she was the MVP. She is the main draw.
She wasn't the one who was forced.
No matter how much the committee cited chemistry, experience, or her still developing pro game, it was clear something deeper was happening. It wasn't that Clark wasn't talented, it was that she wasn't on the agenda. Whether it was jealousy from veterans, discomfort with the attention she commands, or resistance to her redefining women's basketball, there were powerful forces working behind the scenes to keep her out.
Seems to be resentment of Caitlin Clark bringing the eyeballs in. And the thing that's the biggest head scratch is I don't think it's because of what she's saying or how she's carrying herself.
There is no one in the WNBA that has received that. Not Taurasi, not Jewel Lloyd, not Kelsey Plum, not Inescu, none of them. What does that mean? That means she's the most important player in the league. She's not the best player in the league, not yet, maybe never, who knows, but she's the most.
When the backlash erupted and fans demanded answers for leaving out the league's most popular player, Team USA didn't stand firm. Instead, they attempted damage control, offering her a spot on the 3x3 squad, fully aware she wasn't even eligible.
I think it was best for both, and I said that at the time. I thought she had played a lot of basketball. I think she was tired. She needed a break. I didn't think she earned it. And there were other players who probably were in front of her who didn't make it as well. I'm going to guess she'll probably be on the next Olympics.
To qualify for 3x3, Clark would have needed ranking points from previous 3x3 competitions, something she didn't have. She would have had to skip fever games, enter multiple qualifying events during the WNBA season, and race to reach the rankings in time. In other words, they were asking her to risk her team, her health, and her schedule for a format she has never played.